This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore! Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
This is my iron. You're gonna acknowledge me.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to another main event review today. This one airing on the 13th of February, and I guess a lot to get through this week. Hopefully everyone had a good Valentine's Day. Those who were alone or with someone, hopefully they enjoyed nevertheless. And yeah, I think with WrestleMania coming around the corner, a lot of things happening on SmackDown, a lot of things happening on Raw, and I guess it's getting translated into main event as well. And two good matches actually to review today. We had Maxine Dupree coming up against Zoe Stark, and then later on Penta taking on Grayson Waller. And before, I guess, reviewing that second match, there's a lot of people that are concerned. I've seen on the internet that Penta is getting a main event match. People were obviously thinking that he's not going to be pushed, and getting on the main event card is, as quoted, a downgrade to his story. But I think what people got to understand is that when you are new into the WWE, when you're starting to get your kind of character across, there are times where you need to make an appearance on main event. So Penta being on main event, for everyone's concerns, if there are any that are listening to the podcast, I don't see there being any concerns for him moving forward. I just think that he was booked in for at least one main event match, just to, I guess, hype the crowd up. For those that probably don't know about his run outside of WWE, to better understand him and see how he performs in the ring. And yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned. I think that Penta, that WWE's got a lot of plans for Penta. We have to understand that he was literally the Iron Man of this year's Royal Rumble, and there is a window of opponents that are needed for Bron Breakker, and you've seen that been teased over Raw. So I think that Penta is going to be more than okay, and I don't think there is nothing to worry about there. But for me personally, it's good to actually to be able to review a match with Penta on main event, and especially coming up against the Aussie icon Grayson Waller, who I've mentioned in the past that he is probably the most accurate representation of an Australian as I've ever seen on in WWE. So credit to the guy, and you probably all love to hate him, and that's what makes his character quite fascinating, and what I love to see, because he cherishes those Australian values that they don't look good in WWE, but I guess the sarcasm, the confidence, and especially his accent and the way he goes about things, I kind of like. So yeah, I love to see Australian representation, as you're probably all aware. Who doesn't like to see their own in the bigger stages of the world, whether it's in sports or in celebrity things or music or WWE, which is basically what I'm talking about here. But just wanted to clear that up before we get into it. And also, there are a few things that happened on SmackDown a week prior. So just to quickly address, we had the Charlotte Flair promo with Tiffany Stratton. And just want to get that one out the way because it happened last week, and there was obviously a new episode that came out. She was obviously speaking with Tiffany Stratton, basically saying that she is a child. And then we get her ultimately choosing Tiff in my opinion, which was like the weirdest way possible. I already said that I would have preferred her to go up against Rhea Ripley, and I know that everything was pointing towards these two going at it at WrestleMania, so I'm not surprised with the decision because of, I guess, majority of the people already thought this, but the way they kind of went about it, by her just being on the stage, or on the ring, on the floor, and Charlotte with coming and sitting with a chair and saying, "Tiffy, I choose you," which is pretty weird because I don't think they built it up that much for her to make that decision. It just came out of nowhere. But I guess we're getting a Charlotte Tiffany Stratton match, and I suspect that this is going to make Tiffany elevate a bit. I was looking for the word elevate a bit in her superstar status, because Charlotte is obviously at the probably back end of her career. She's done enough in WWE, so this might be a way to push Tiffany Stratton over. And if that's the case, then got to respect Charlotte for pushing over the new and upcoming talent. And also, she clearly shows that WWE have massive plans for Tiffany Stratton, and rightly so, because she's well over at the moment. So, yeah, just wanted to address that, because they did add the main event segment. They did add a main event segment, or SmackDown segment on main event for this episode. And this is just the annoying part for me personally. That's why I don't like that they come out on Sundays, because if they are going to release the main event show on Sunday, they should really address the latest SmackDown rather than the SmackDown before. All of you already get the content from Amanda and from Matt as well, so just resurfacing that content with news that's over a week ago just seems a bit pointless. But just thought I'd mention that, and I guess my take on what's going to happen with those two. Exciting to see that, yes, as mentioned, that Tiffany's going to be getting a push, and Charlotte's looking to elevate younger superstars. So I like the direction there. For a match, I did obviously prefer Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, I guess because they won one at WrestleMania, and that would be a good rubber match, and I feel like that feud would be a bit more exciting. There's more to it, but I understand the direction there, and I'm not surprised. But anyway, we will move on to the first match of the main event, which, as mentioned, was Maxine Dupree and Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark getting the victory here. No PFC, no Sonya Deville, so that was obviously confirmed last week, as mentioned, that Sonya Deville is not going to have a place in WWE anymore. And it seems as though Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark are still together. The win was caused by a distraction from Shayna Baszler, who botched the leg on the ring from Maxine Dupree, so got a bit lucky that she was able to do it the second time. But from there, Maxine Dupree did a nice rolling senton, which, to be honest, was actually really cool. Like, I was actually really impressed with the move. I think she executed the senton extremely well, but it obviously went to a downfall because Zoe Stark ended up putting her finisher and getting the victory. The match itself was a pretty solid match. Alpha Academy have become, I guess, the main event staples here, as mentioned before, being the entertainment before the Raw show there. But yeah, I guess a good match. Not really sure what they're going to do for the two, but I'd love to see Maxine get a bit more ring time, whether it's in main event or Monday Night Raw, because it feels like she's never wrestling. And today, she really did well. I think this loss doesn't put her or de-elevate her, de-escalate her in any way. I think this is just a message to say that despite Sonya Deville not being in WWE anymore, they still believe in Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. They may be a tag team still, or they may go their separate ways, but I think both of them as heel tag teams can be something good for the tag team division. And with Maxine Dupree, I think they need to start pushing her a bit more, because when I first started seeing her wrestle last year, you could tell she didn't seem to have a lot of confidence. She felt very raw. But as she's grown into this character, especially since Chad Gable left and was obviously turning heel and bullying on them, she's sparked up a lot of confidence. And you can see that in ring as well. Obviously, she's not taking victories because those like little spurts happen in like 2-3 minute periods, and then she ends up getting dominated anyway. But I do like what I'm seeing with Maxine Dupree, and I would love to see more, see how she comes up against other opposition, and hopefully she gets some time on Monday Night Raw. Like Otis and Chad Gable not getting their program, I really would like to see Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree get a proper program. I feel like that's something that can happen long term, because I feel as though that hasn't really been fully addressed as well. Ivy Nile was, I think, turning on Maxine Dupree simply to join American Made, and they haven't really addressed that properly. I feel like that's a storyline that can get Maxine Dupree elevated to where I think she can be in the future. So hopefully that will happen in the future. But no complaints about the match. With some good moves, just that small botch from Shayna Baszler. But other than that, pretty solid display there. We then get a small SmackDown segment. Again, this was before the latest recording of SmackDown of Solo returning and attacking Cody Rhodes. And then this was addressed the week after in like the most strangest way when Cody Rhodes said, like, I feel like that spike wasn't for me. So why the hell would Solo spike Cody Rhodes then? If it wasn't for Cody Rhodes, it was clearly for someone else, which we obviously now suspect that it's something to do with Jacob Fatu. Why the hell has Solo attacked Cody Rhodes? And again, another just ridiculous thing where we've seen a feud happen for over 3 months and we feel as though it's over, and then the next week we get Cody Rhodes getting attacked by Solo. We had this with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk having promos still post Hell in a Cell. We even had Rhea Ripley getting attacked by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Like, are these feuds dead, or they want to continue going with the feuds? And I see where Triple H is coming from, and the storyline creators coming from here. Like, just because a feud's over doesn't mean there is no dislike towards each other. But I guess we get tired of the same feuds all and again. And like, for Solo's return to be attacking Cody Rhodes, to me, it didn't make sense at all. And even especially when he pulls a promo and Cody says, I don't think that spike was for me. It just didn't make sense. But we did see what's going on there. We saw rumblings of what could happen between Fatu and Solo. I'm suspecting a WrestleMania fight between the two. Fatu obviously being extremely over at the moment. Even he's getting now Fatu chance. He's looking to be the next big thing. And this starts with, I think, a Solo fight at WrestleMania. Now, what I will say is that I don't mind Fatu moving face, but what I do mind is if Fatu starts becoming sucky with the crowd. I think that Fatu can remain the same intimidating person that doesn't like anyone, but he doesn't necessarily have to be a babyface. He can be loved by the crowd for his attitude and still have attitude against everyone, face or heel. So I really hope they stay put with his character. I don't think he needs to be a babyface in that aspect. He can be cheered, he can be loved because he actually deserves it. He's well over and he's incredible in the ring. He's also incredible on the mic, so I can understand that point. But I don't want Fatu then to start going how much he loves the fans and how much he brought him out of jail and all these things. Like, no, let's just make Fatu and keep him how he is. He can pick whoever he wants to fight against, whether it's a face or a heel, but just keep Fatu authentic is what I'm simply asking for. And we did see at the end Solo accidentally spiking Tama Tonga, so we've already got some tensions there. Fatu is not going to be happy that he didn't get his Elimination Chamber spot due to that distraction. It was a good way for WWE to protect him. We would have loved to see him in the chamber, causing havoc, but the truth of the matter is that he was not going to win anyway, even if he was in the chamber. And I think Damian Priest does deserve it, despite not really doing much, or there's not much really plans for him going forward. But since he did win the World Heavyweight Championship last year, he does deserve a place in the Royal Rumble. So that's good. Again, Fatu and Solo WrestleMania would be something super exciting, and I think it's the best way for Solo to kind of make an impact since he's pretty much lost all the important matches and must-win matches. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, especially with the likes of Fatu. You don't want Fatu's first loss being against Solo there. Cool. And then we move on to Raw, where we have Jey Uso again doing his 10-minute victory entrance. Seems to be the case for every show, which I'm not complaining about. I'm actually really fond of it. The fans are going crazy, but they did a really good job here in interrupting it with Gunther pulling him off the table and giving him 2 power bombs and attacking him. And we get security clearing up. He walks out of the ring. Jey Uso grabs the mic and basically tells us everything that we already knew, that he wants Gunther at WrestleMania. So that was such a big surprise. It wasn't. We all knew that this was going to happen. So I think I'm extremely disappointed, I'll be honest, in both ways to announce who they're fighting up against WrestleMania, as in I'm talking about Charlotte Flair and Jey Uso. I would have rather it be a bit more suspenseful, especially the Charlotte Flair one, because there was an opportunity for both bookings to be good. But with Jey Uso, I guess this is probably the only way that they could have done it, really. But now it seems as though that Gunther is just going to make Jey Uso's life a living hell. And as mentioned, we do need new stars to be put over and to highlight WrestleMania. But that doesn't mean that I want Jey Uso to have his kind of WrestleMania moment this year, like the likes of Cody Rhodes and Daniel Bryan in the past and Kofi Kingston, as I mentioned last year. I do think Gunther still has a lot to give as champion, and I still think they can run this back next year as well. So hopefully they do. It will make the story a lot more interesting. It will continue to put the narrative that Jey Uso is not good enough to be a main eventer and to win gold. So one more year of that, I don't think will hurt. But I guess WWE can be really impatient, and they might have to ride with this heat that Jey Uso is getting. So let's see what happens. I'm very keen for that one, and I'm going to be very patient and very interested and locked into this feud, because I think that's what you have to be as a fan. Like, we can complain, we can make our points, and we can say that we prefer this, we prefer that, but in the end, the best way and the best things to do is to trust the process, understand that Triple H has a plan and an idea, trust that, and hopefully they can deliver. And most of the time, I see that we always complain about stuff, we want stuff differently, but we end up getting over it and moving on anyway. So hopefully we get a good booking here. If not, I guess we'll have to just see what they do after that, and we'll have to forget about it real quick. We then get to our second match of the main event, and that was Penta going up against the Aussie icon Grayson Waller. And as I mentioned at the start, a lot of you guys were obviously concerned of Penta being on the main event, but that entrance, he's not going to be there for long, because he had a massive pop. It really felt like I was watching a Raw match and not a main event match with the atmosphere. People were clearly excited to see Penta. The crowd was feeling it. And I think going forward, I wouldn't mind to see stars of that caliber go on main event just to hype up the crowd a little bit more. Because that was really good. There was a lot of atmosphere. The crowd was electric, and you could see that he is made for big things in WWE. Maybe not world championship things at the moment, but definitely mid-card belts is something that Penta should be in the conversations about and in the bookings for sure. And yep, this match, Penta obviously getting the victory here. No doubts, no questions about that on his main event debut. Due to and it was won by the Penta driver. But before that, we had the Aussie icon, which is what I'm going to call him because he is one. Accidentally hit Austin Theory, and that's going to be something to go through into the triple threat match for the NXT Championship with Obafemi, and hopefully they split these two guys up, because they've been hyping this since post WrestleMania that they were going to split up, and they still haven't done it yet. I'm not sure what's going to happen after that, but clearly Austin Theory was someone that was highly pushed before getting a victory against John Cena at WrestleMania, and there just needs to be a push for him. He is young, he's upcoming. Grayson Waller's on the older side. He can definitely help elevate Austin Theory to another level, but they really shouldn't be there together. And I'm getting tired of seeing them together, because it just feels like it's not helping either of them. It makes Grayson Waller look worse. It makes Austin Theory look a lot worse, if I'm honest, despite my bias towards the Aussie icon. I have to say that since Austin Theory has been with Grayson Waller, he hasn't really done much or shown anything, or there's no indication that there are any plans for him. He's young, he's hungry, he can wrestle, he's extremely strong, he's got the confidence, he can easily do something better here. And I feel like Grayson Waller can potentially be the next Miz, if possible. I could see him definitely having that Grayson Waller effect show happen more often, because I think it's great that they have those shows, those segments with certain shows, and the Grayson Waller effect is one perfect example. And maybe one day he wins a mid-card cheating and holds it on for a bit. Or my dreams is that he becomes a world champion by winning the Money in the Bank and holding the belt for a bit, not getting the most patriotic victories. But again, these two need to split up. Hopefully that happens and NXT. I'll be keeping an eye out for that one for sure. But again, this is about Penta. This is about Penta's elevation, his main event, getting his main event debut out the way. And I suspect we won't see him here much often. But hopefully WWE can see that when you put a superstar of that caliber onto main event, you still get some energy from the crowd and some hype. And I definitely did see that. And it was great to see him wrestle as well. Both excellent in ring. Grayson Waller was pretty solid as well. I think they worked really well together in this match. And after the match, I am an NFL fan despite being from Australia, so I do know who George Kittle is, tight end for the 49ers, and a massive WWE fan. And a good, funny bloke overall. I had him on fantasy last year as well, for those that do play NFL fantasy. But he gets into the ring, celebrating with Penta. Obviously, him and Austin Theory went back and forth during the match. But it would have been cool to see maybe George Kittle perform a move on him. But nevertheless, he comes in and he celebrates with Penta in what was a good match. Definitely got me hyped up, and the crowd obviously were hyped up there too. So for those that are upset that Penta was on the main event, I disagree completely. I think he's going to be fine, and it's great to see him on there. And especially for myself, being able to review that as well. Then we get the main event of Monday Night Raw. So back on Raw, which is the Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul. Logan Paul getting the victory here, which was something that I could have told you before. And yeah, Logan Paul looking good. He's getting a lot of boos at the moment, which I think is rightly so, because he is a shit bloke. Sorry for my language, but he is. But at the same time, he is naturally athletic, and he's doing a fantastic job in WWE. He's extremely talented. He's impressed me in his ring, his abilities, his athleticism, his charisma. It makes perfect for this type of business, what he's doing. And he does have a wrestling background. He's done wrestling in high school. He clearly knows what it's like to be on a big stage. So no complaints for Logan Paul as a superstar. And the fact of the matter is, he's not playing character either. This is who he is. He is that type of person. So there's no surprises there. He's getting a lot of heat, but WWE are obviously pushing him for maybe business related reasons, and also the ability for him to get that exposure as well. So he'll be in the Elimination Chamber match, which was no surprise. And as for Rey Mysterio, they didn't show it in Raw or in main event, but the New Day end up attacking him after the match. So there might be some stuff there with Rey Mysterio. We had Dragon Lee helping him out, which was obviously suspected, but the New Day showing their heel prowess and actually finally doing something for once, and they finally got a program for him. It doesn't seem as though Big E's coming back anytime soon, but nevertheless a program that is worthwhile watching. And what better than having Rey Mysterio, a veteran presence, a locker room leader, be the one to kind of kickstart in what hopefully is a new run for the New Day, a nice heel run, because they look to be a very good heel partnership at the moment, and I like what I'm seeing from them. I like their promos, I like their attitude, and it's something refreshing to see, a new change, and especially for Kofi's sake as well, because we obviously knew that Xavier Woods was going to turn heel. It was a long time overdue, but Kofi going into this role and embracing it just makes it a whole lot better. And yeah, very keen to see what will happen there. But other than that, an overall really good main event. Probably the best main event episode that I've reviewed so far, especially with Penta, and even with Maxine Dupree in that fight with Zoe Stark. So some awesome things there, and lots to happen before Elimination Chamber. We obviously got that small Kevin Owens promo, so it looks like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to be fighting in Toronto, Canada, amongst both their hometowns or their home countries. So that will be exciting. And hopefully we'll get to see another good Raw and SmackDown leading up to Elimination Chamber, where, if I'm honest, I have no idea who Cody Rhodes is going to be versing. Like, I thought it'd be The Rock. I thought it would be Randy Orton, which would be the most logical choice. But right now, I'm extremely lost with that championship storyline. So, hopefully Elimination Chamber, or even the SmackDown and Raw leading up to it, answers a few of the questions that I have. But for now, I'm just going to sit tight, be patient, and enjoy this Road to WrestleMania ride. And also continue to review these main events, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. And again, I appreciate you guys listening, and hope you all take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.